Smart 24, driving business.
And now, besides that, let's get our eyes in this hour as we kick off the 8 o'clock hour with our business tip of the day. The business tip said you shouldn't focus on why you can't do something, which is what most people do. You should instead focus on why perhaps you can and be one of those exceptions. You shouldn't focus on why you can't do something, which is what most people do. You should focus on why perhaps you can and be one of those exceptions. Well, don't focus more on what you can't do because everyone focuses on what they can't do. Let you be the exception and at least focus more on what you can do, because if you focus on the negative side of it, you'll never appreciate the positive. Away from that though, we now get our business quote of the morning. And the quote is coming in from Jim Rohn, who says, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Formal education will make you a living, and self-education will make you that fortune that you need. So as much as we focus on looking at formal education making you a living, because when you get formal education, the chances are high for you to get a job, a good paying job, and be recognized in society. But then if you don't educate yourself about the experiences you faced in life, you may not earn a fortune as much. So that is the business quote of the morning. All right, and now stopping corruption has always been one of the fundamental focuses in the country here. And on our social media trends this morning, we turn our eyes to that same cue. Ugandans on Twitter had their say in regards to hashtag fighting the corrupt. We kick it off with Trill at Trill Uganda, who says Justin, former Soroti University Secretary Achimo Ruth Etibot, has been convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment by the Anti-Corruption Court on charges of abuse of office, diversion of public resources, and fraudulent false accounting. Hashtag expose the corrupt. Obviously, you get to see one of the reasons as to why Ugandans are speaking highly of corruption lately. Now, besides that, Patience HRA at Kabarungi Party says corruption has taken toll on various government entities, and this is oftentimes because even the innocent ones look at it and keep quiet, hence indirectly abetting of the vice, because eventually they will also become victims or gross backers of corruption. Hashtag expose the corrupt, that is according to what has been highlighted here in that issue. Makereranian at Ronald Muchibi 8 says, when those corrupt officials fall in the hands of at Kaguta Museveni, they will know that Luzira has enough space for them. Hashtag expose the corrupt. participating in corruption, they don't cover their faces and take it as a normal business. But when exposed, they cover their faces as if the world is ending. Hashtag expose the corrupt. That is according to Makerere at Ronald Muchibi 18. Now, besides that, Trustline Foundation Uganda, Trustline_UG, did make a tweet in here regarding people should be cautious that they can change a corrupt system. Corruption is a cancer that eats away at citizens' faith. Let's choose to eliminate corruption and report it where we see it. Hashtag expose the corrupt. Besides that, Nats T. Abubakari at Nats 2012-2351 says, report shows that at URA, Uganda staff stole 3 billion shillings. It is confirmed that the Inspector General of Government, that is at IGG, Betty Kamya, has already started an investigation into the allegation of massive corruption, abuse of office and tax evasion at the institution. Hashtag expose the corrupt. Now, Katwile Moli at Katwile Mori says, corruption is a major obstacle to wildlife conservation and the management of a country's natural resources. So corruption enables poaching and illegal logging, both of species in which trade is legal but regulated and of a species in which trade is illegal. Hashtag expose the corrupt. Of course, everyone giving their side view of corruption, and we've all in one way been victims of that. So with, according to President Yoweri Museveni, with at AP Kakogonza's list of Mabati beneficiaries, the best is to share with the Bazukulu the guidance I gave to the political class, ministers, MPs, etc. The problem with the political class is that some of them have not internalized the NRM line on socio-economic transformation. And they opportunistically try to do the cheap popularity of fundraising, giving Mabati, giving big numbers of bursaries, etc. So they end up with that and disparate efforts to look for donations, efforts that can lead into mistakes of being tempted to divert what is meant for A to B. Now that is a political mistake that can also be subsive, as you will see from my letter to the Prime Minister. Now the mistake, however, is totally different from converting those items to personal use. That is no longer just a mistake but theft. Therefore, Kugonza, do not worry, all those involved will be handled appropriately. Now those who diverted the Mabati but not for personal use must pay back the equivalent value in money or return the Mabati for the Karachuna so that that program goes on. Now, on many occasions, I have told leaders not to try and carry their constituents on their heads financially, or kubetika, but should show the families how to use the NRM programs, NADS, the Operation Wealth Creation, the Parity Development Model, etc., and make their own money. Kukule mbera so sikweti kabantu. Well, that's according to President Yoweri Museveni. On that one, he was replying to AP Kugonza's tweet asking what will President Museveni do for the people who are dealing in the Mabati or in the Iron Sheet saga, or who are highlighted in the Iron Sheet saga. So that is where the president definitely got into reply to most of them. Okay, now besides that, we get into more of our business updates this morning, and our eyes now turn to the medical interns who were on strike yesterday. Journalists were among the people who were affected during this strike, though. But on the other hand, the association president of the medical interns is pushing for improved working conditions, allowances, and payment in time. This is one of the reasons as to why the medical interns were striking. Let's first of all get to see what was happening yesterday.
A major workforce in the medical profession. They are the first doctors to see any patient. Many times they are on their own, many times they are with us, their supervisors. We choose different techniques. You can send them ahead of you, they see the patient, they call you. You assess them depending on what assessment they have made without you being there, and how they have treated. That's how we train them. When they are medical students, they must be with us all the time. But when they are interns, they can be on their own, but under our tutorage. So they are employed and they are working, and they must be paid a salary, not an allowance, because they are holders of a degree, an MBCHB. They are registered, although you call it temporary registration, with the council. It's like anyone who is on probation. If you're on probation, you are still employed. They might pay you 75% of what you should get. They might decide to pay you 50% of what you're supposed to get, which is what government decided, to pay them 50% of what a medical officer gets. So their plea to get 2.5 million is right. They should get 50% of what the qualified medical officer gets. But it must be a salary. And we must not fear salaries, because as a government, we actually benefit from those salaries. Because when you get a salary, then you pay a tax. When you are paid an allowance, you're not going to be charged for a tax. So we should outrightly give them a salary which comes on time. And then when in one go you pay health workers or government civil servants, you pay them so that their mind does not come after. Those discrepancies are the ones which have caused us problems. So that Ministry of Health is asking for one vote of salaries. If it is 1 trillion, it is 1 trillion. If it is 100 million, it is 100 million or billion or whatever. Instead of asking for salaries for staff, then allowances for interns, allowances for SHOs, that must stop. Interns and SHOs must be salaried. And that's what was happening. I did my internship in 96, 97. I did my SHO training in 2000, 2004, and I was paid a salary, not an allowance.
So I was supposed to be deployed on 4th of April to start my internship, which takes a full year, such that I can get full licensure to practice out there. We have waited for this internship for more than 7 months, been seated. For that, we don't have our papers for that time, so we've been seated home. Remember, you're a graduate, you finished campus, so there's no more asking for money from your parents. But we accepted struggle for those months, awaiting internship. When we knew we could be getting some allowance, you sustain yourself and support part of your family. But to our dismay, closer to the reporting date of our deployment in internship, we had no lists of deployment. And there came in a letter from Ministry of Health showing us that there is going to be a delay in deployment of interns, which was not straightforward because they never gave us any reasons as to why they were not going to deploy us. And it hurts us as main stakeholders in health were not consulted to talk about our issues. They just issued letters, not even to us, but to the hospitals where we are supposed to be deployed. So it left us in confusion, not knowing if we are going for internship or not, and when and where, because we don't have the lists. We don't know who is going and where we are going, if we are going anywhere. And the rumors that they want to scrap off our allowances, which keep us going, because we need to eat, we need to rent, we need to clothe, so we can't do without those allowances. So there are rumors that they are trying to scrap off those allowances and just provide portion bins and probably some dorms, because that's what they're saying, that we can do with only food and rent, which is not true. No one is going to work on you after eating portion bins and you get the services you're supposed to get. So we are here to tell the public, to tell the ministry, to tell the parliament that what they are doing is not fair. We need to be deployed. We need to go out there and serve the country, but also when we are catered for. We've long waited for this and we are growing impatient. We've just had a press conference, but if they don't honor what we've told them, I think we shall not be left with any other option other than marching on the streets as we've done before, because it seems it's the language they understand.
Yes, I understand that usually there is brutality during the process. But I think where we have reached, we need to do this. We are ready to face anything because we have been at home for quite a long time. We are living a life of uncertainty. We are not sure where this all is going, and yet it is mandatory for us to do internship. And even if you leave alone the bit of it being mandatory, the task force is needed at the facilities, at the hospitals. The fuel that the hospitals run on is by the interns. in whatever specialty they are in. So we shall still stand the brutality that might come with it, whatever that is going to come. We are ready to face it as long as we get deployed. Because like you know, we are young individuals, we need to move on with life. We need to go for internship, get a license, learn to practice. Right now we can't practice because we do not have the license. Okay, and the issues that have been raised, I want to comment about one, the issue of numbers, that the numbers are a lot. So we are asking, what is the ministry doing about the fact that these numbers are a lot? I think they have failed somewhere to regulate. The regulation should be at the point of entry. After that, they should follow up. Third year, how many do you have? By the time you reach fifth year, you should have an idea of how many doctors are getting out, and you should have planned for them right from the moment they enter, right from the time that you let them enter. So we as interns, as of now, we do not have any question to answer on that. It is a problem created by them, and they need to get issues. They need to get solutions for the problem that has been created. About the allowances, it is obvious we cannot run minus the allowances. The work we do in the hospitals is a lot. It is 24 hours. You can even go 48 hours without sleep. So you need to be given the salary, not actual allowances. The allowances is belittling us. Yes.
Issues to do with salaries and, of course, payments in the country, especially not only in the private sector, but it does look like even in the public service, do seem to be an issue. Andrew BARIGYE joins me this morning again as we look deeper into understanding why are we here. Medical interns striked yesterday, and of course the strike was around Mulago, was at the Mulago hospital. So the question is, though, they are saying delaying payments, less pay, no allowances, and the working conditions are not really favoring them. They want some change, they say. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, John. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
A change is what the medical interns want. They feel the government is so reluctant on their issues, and they feel the government needs to at least come out so fast and at least work on them before they put down their equipment or their tools as medical practitioners, and at least,
Well, I think they have a point in that regard. Taking a look at what is really expected of them. I'm going to accompany this with a report which says recently the government of Uganda had committed about 2.5 million shillings for the medical internees. That is each person earning the salary of 2.5. Those who have been deployed in various hospitals in the country. And we also get to see that it is noted that the Ministry of Health later released that is later indicating that the number of medical interns are many, which disrupted some sort of their plans that triggered. And then we also seem to realize that the ministry also issued an announcement that there will be, of course, some bit of delay and comes to deployment of medical interns in hospitals due to shortage funds that was being indicated, which of course is not yet released. Regarding that matter. But still, according to the next financial year budget, that is 2023-2024, Ministry of Health received a budget cut, which, of course, cannot be affordable to accommodate medical internees and senior medical officers, and of course, were not considerable. Now, of course, the Ministry of Health requires about 40.2 billion shillings for their allowances, but only 8 billion has been provided. That is for the next year budget, of course, leaving it in that perspective. But you know, according to their complaints, they just don't want to be given allowances. They don't want to limit themselves to that perspective. They should really start to earn some serious salaries, because probably the only benefit they have been getting is just being given food at those different respective facilities where they are executing their internship. But that's quite not fair, I'll say that, and just in my opinion anyway. I'm not saying it's the final aspect regarding that matter, but that needs to be worked on, because we see that a number of graduates from different universities are suffering, that is after completing their studies, you know, most especially when it comes to the medical perspective. of course, we saw the pandemic and we got to realize the importance of having a stabilized medical sector. That involves labor, human personalities, and how you treat them matters. So, if such circumstances, it's more like during that time the medical workers were being on demand. But right now, the fact that we no longer face the pandemic, sometimes probably we feel like we don't need them anymore. And that causes frustration among the staff, and also the people that are doing medicine at this time. People, and when people get frustrated into their careers, they can do whatever they want to do. And definitely that would mean it's endangering the health. So we shouldn't just show them that we need them for a specific reason when there is a pandemic, but it should be appreciating their services all the time in the country.
But surprisingly, it's sad to say though, but by the look of things, the media and the medical practitioners in Uganda, in this country, are one of the worst paid professionals. So not only besides looking at COVID-19 and everything, health is supposed to be priority.
That's why I was saying it shouldn't be just on a specific time when we pay attention.
Because even in COVID, we still had, you didn't mention COVID, but even in COVID, we still had those who had issues still.
Okay, they were there. But at least there was a time whereby now the country, it's just way bigger than just, okay, yeah, the money aspect is there, but that recognition of knowing that these people are important to us.
Yes, they are recognized and important, but by the look of things, in regards to recognition saves you nothing when you have no money.
Yeah, of
and
course.
for them, because they are medical practitioners who work in shifts, and you expect them to live a life that is actually not stress-free. Imagine someone going to work on someone. They don't need a billboard. This is a sector that doesn't need recognition by the president to come out and say, we prioritize you.
Okay.
You have to pay them.
In this sense, what I mean is that, when there is that recognition that comes in, recognition comes with what media puts out in there. And what is that is put there will pressure the responsible stakeholders to really do something about to attend to their grievances. That's the power of that, when you say, because if these riots happen and nothing is done, other riots happen, nothing is done. So that means there is nothing, no one even cares about you. I'm talking about that which will put that sort of recognition that will actually bring, because I don't think you can, before you're worthy of your price, it has to be proved somewhere. That's what I'm trying to mean. Like that thing, and they're responsible stakeholders that are pushing your worth towards people that are like, man, he's worth this. So that will push it to manifest in financial terms, right? At any cost. But now, it's very frustrating that even when you try to put out a grievance, no one cares.
Well, you see, but look at things, also the medical interns are threatening to get off, because some of them are saying 7 months of waiting, and you're in this internship, practicing something you've dreamt of becoming, but then realizing professionally it is not paying as such. We are in a world where you reach a stage and you cease to work for recognition, and you're now working to get money.
Yeah, okay. The recognition in this aspect is something which, like I said, the recognition aspect portrays your worth, which will influence the person that is probably using your services to know your worth. That
you're very important.
You're very important, so you deserve this. You attach a price to that.
All right. How have you attached the price? According to Andrew, he is saying that, well, it is better for someone to actually attach a price so that you get recognized. In that way, they will easily recognize you and see your importance, and the payment will be strictly heading out there.
Actually, I would even suggest, that sometimes, this is personal. It's way beyond just you being in a group that we're going to protest.
Yeah.
But what is that unique aspect that defines you as a doctor that you really qualify to say that I need this? Because they're saying you need money, but the day somebody calls you and it's like, prove your worth, that you deserve this amount of money, that you say 2.8, prove me that.
You need that money.
That you need that money. It's so much more important than being in the bandwagon of protesters.
All right, and of course, the protests were on yesterday. Police was quick to dispatch them off, though it didn't dispatch them in a peaceful manner. Tear gas was sprayed, and journalists were among those who were attacked during the same. And we continue to remind the policymakers or the law enforcers that journalism is not a crime in there. After the break, though, we return with the details from sports business and entertainment business. But as we are heading to the break, the markets have officially been opened for the Zabo platform. Start 292# is a USSD code that you will definitely use to kickstart off your investment journey. Why not pick up, start up, and quickly kickstart off your investment journey? Register with your national identification number, and then you will see changes coming into you or coming into the kind of situation that you need. As any individual, there is a lot of opportunities for you to kickstart off your investment with the platform Zabo. My money, my future. Alltech East Africa, do something new. Invest in government bonds with a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Start today and see the difference. You're still watching Smart Means Business. We go into a break and we return shortly after.